Okay, okay. Mic off रखो अपने अब. Today we will discuss a new topic that is variation associated with polygenic traits. So without wasting much time, I am directly going to share my screen. Okay. Variation associated with polygenic traits. Any plant breeder, when he or she wants to proceed his breeding program, first of all, he try to make some selection from the material he has with him. In the process of crop improvement, desirable plants are continuously being selected from genetically variable population. And selection has two basic characteristics. First, selection is effective for heritable differences only. Suppose a breeder makes selection and the effect of selection does not appear in next generation. It means that selection is not effective. It is effective for heritable differences only. Second, selection does not create any new variation. It only utilizes the variation which is already present in a population. In selection, simply what we do, we just pick up some desirable plants in the field and tag them. So it does not create any new variation. Next, there are two basic requirements for selection to operate. What are these? Variation must be present in the population and the variation should be heritable. First, variation must be present in the population. Suppose if you do selection in a uniform population, it has no variation, then our selection is not worthwhile, because from uniform population, what will you select? So variation must be present in the population, and that variation should be heritable also. Although you may notice variation in the population, but probably it may be due to some environmental factor that is not of worthwhile. So variation should be heritable, it should be genotypic in nature. So variability is a key factor which determines the efficiency of selection, or in other words, we can say which determines the amount of progress expected from selection. So magnitude of genetic variability, it is very important to a plant breeder for starting a judicious breeding program. If there is no variability, breeder can't make a judicious breeding program. Variability must be there. In the field or any other experiment, what we do, we take some observation on certain characters and record phenotypic values. So phenotypic values are recorded on different individuals of the plant and population mean is determined. For example, we take plant height. There may be several plant and there will be several values. We record them and we get mean. But this population mean, it gives no idea whether these phenotypic values are fairly similar or variable about the population mean. It does not give the idea. And it is known that individuals differ in phenotypic values for quantitative traits. Suppose there are 100 individuals. In 100 individuals for plant height, all the individuals vary somewhat. Some having 60 centimeters, some having 70 centimeter, 80 centimeter, 50 centimeter. So individuals differ in phenotypic values. These differences in the values of any character among individual, these are called variation. So the proper definition of variation is occurrence of differences among the individuals belonging to a single species or to different species for a character. This is called variation. Generally, it is for single species, but in some cases, it may also go to different species. For example, Triticum aestivum, Triticum durum, these are related species. There may also be, we can study the variation. There are some other related terms, which are related to variation, such as variability, genetic diversity. Variability is tendency of individual genotypes to vary from one another. Suppose in a population, there are several genotypes, how they vary from one another. This is the variability. And genetic diversity, it is the amount of variation seen in a particular population. So there is a slight difference between these terms. One more important thing, generally people seems that variability is same as variation. No, variability is not the same as variation. Variability of a trait describes how much that trait tends to vary in response to environmental and genetic factors. Some trait, suppose there is crop in field and the field is saline, and the same genotype, if planted in acidic soil, the response on a particular trait will be different. So trait describe how much that trait tend to vary in response to environmental and genetic factors. In summary, we can say that variability studies genotypes at the level of individuals and population, while variation studies genotypes between species and within species. This is some difference between variability and variation. What are the sources of maintaining genetic variability? There are three main sources for maintaining genetic variability: spontaneous mutation, natural outcrossing, and recombination. Being PG students of plant breeding and genetics, I think you know all these things. In this way, variability can be maintained. There are certain measures by which genetic variability is conserved, such as maintenance of global gene pool. In almost every country, a gene pool is being maintained. So global gene pool maintenance. By this way, genetic variability may be conserved. There are heterogeneous population with the breeder and many research centers. So if we use deliberate use of these population, we can conserve genetic variability. Use of multi-line varieties. You know, multi-line varieties, they have different sources of disease resistance. They may also act as a conserving measure. What are the types of biological variation? We know that in previous classes we studied that phenotype is the joint product of genotype and its environmental effect. So for phenotypic value, there will be phenotypic variation. For genotypic value, there will be genotypic variation. For environmental fluctuation, there is environmental variation. So overall, there are three types of variation: phenotypic, genotypic, and environmental. What is phenotypic variation? Phenotype means any observable or external appearance of an individual. So it is the total observable variation present in a population. What we see or what we observe. This is the phenotypic variation. It includes both genotypic and environment variation because P is equal to G plus E. Although there may be involvement of interaction between genotype and environment, but still we limit our discussion up to P is equal to G plus E. This phenotypic variation, it changes under different environmental condition. Obvious, when P is equal to G plus E, if there is variation in environmental factors, there will be variation in phenotypic level. Such variation is measured in terms of phenotypic variance. There are several measures for measuring variation. We will discuss later on. Such type of variation in which variance is the most important and potent measure for measuring variation. So phenotypic variation is measured in terms of phenotypic variance. Next, genotypic variation. It is the inherent variation or genetic variability which is due to genotypic differences among the individuals within a population. Suppose there are three types of genotypes: A1, 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 A2, A2, A2. What is the inherent difference? That is genotypic difference. The plant height of dominant homozygous may be somewhat different. Plant height of recessive homozygous may be different. Plant height of heterozygote may be different. So this is the inherent variability, and it remains unaltered by the environmental condition. Environment does not, although environment interact with genotype, but it remains unaltered by environmental conditions. And this type of variability, it is more useful to a plant breeder for exploitation in selection or hybridization. Such variation consists of three components. We will discuss later on. While studying components of genetic value, we studied that genotypic value consists of three components: additive, dominance, and interaction. In the similar way, genotypic variation will also contain three components, that is additive variance, dominance components, dominance variance, and interaction variance. Next is environmental variation. It refers to non-heritable variation, which is purely due to environmental effects. Any fluctuation in the environmental conditions, they will affect the phenotypic value, but it will be non-heritable. But variation is also, and it varies under different environmental conditions. You may understood. This uncontrolled variation, it is measured in terms of error variance. If we find out the magnitude, it will be measured in terms of error variance or environmental variance. The variation in true breeding lines, suppose pure lines. If there is variation may be there, but it will be non-heritable because it may be due to environment. Now, what are the different measures of variation? The degree of variation is measured by several methods. One is simple measures of variability. You know, and you also studied, I think, in your statistics course. Different measures of dispersion are range, mean deviation, standard deviation, variance, coefficient of variation, standard error. These are the simple measures of measuring variability. Although there are two potent techniques available, which are known as metroglyph analysis, d-square statistics, but they are a broader topic we will take later on. Simple measures of variability are these. Among these, variance is more useful than other measures of variability because it has two important properties. First, it has additivity, and it has subdivisibility. Additivity. Suppose genotypic variance and there is environmental variance. If we add both, they will give rise to phenotypic variance. This is additivity. In other words, we can say that it can be subdivided. How? Suppose genotypic variance, it can be subdivided into additive variance, dominance variance, interaction variance. So additivity and subdivisibility, these are the two important property of variance, and that's why it is more useful. We may discuss something about these measures. Range is the difference between the highest score and lowest score in any data set, and it is the simplest measure of spread. In this example, you may say that there are several values, and among these, maximum value is 85 and minimum is 23. So range is 23 to 85. This is range. This is also used. Standard deviation. Deviation means just how far from normal. In statistics, the standard deviation shows how much variation or dispersion from the average or mean exists. Suppose there is mean, some value it will fluctuate, deviate, and it is measured in terms of standard deviation. A low standard deviation means the data points tend to be very close to the mean. And a high standard deviation means data points are spread out. Low means very close to mean, and high means they are spread out. And statistically, what is standard deviation? It is the square root of its variance, or it is the square root of mean of squares of deviation measured from the mean. I think you have studied standard deviation and all these aspects in your statistics course. I am simply just elaborating this formula. It is the square root of mean of squares of deviation, x minus x bar. This is the deviation measured from the mean. And the standard deviation is an absolute measure of variation, and it is expressed in the terms of unit of the variable. Suppose plant height is measured in centimeter. The unit of standard deviation will also be centimeter. This is the formula of standard deviation. For sample, standard deviation is equal to under root sigma x minus x bar square divided by n minus 1. X minus x bar means it is the deviation from mean. And in case of population, a new symbol mu is used in place of x bar and divided by n. This is the formula. Next is variance. What is variance? It is a measure of variation. It is the mean of square of deviation from mean. Deviation x minus x bar. Suppose there are 10 values, there will be some mean. We may get x minus x bar and make their square, and total it will represent sigma x minus x bar divided by total number n. So this is the variance, mean of square of deviations from mean. If frequencies are given, then we may place sigma f in this formula, and n is automatically equal to sigma f. As I have already told, that it has two property, additivity and subdivisibility. There are slight spelling mistakes. You will correct. This variance is used to compare variability of two or more variables. The one with larger variance value will show the most variability. Coefficient of variation, CV. For measuring variation, we first of all we determine standard deviation, then variance. But it is often difficult to use standard deviation formula to compare measurements from different population for different traits. Suppose plant height is measured in centimeter. Chlorophyll content is measured in milligram per gram fresh weight. Test weight is measured in gram. Germination is measured in percentage. So variable are in different units. So how we can compare different measurement? So there should be a unitless measure. So statistician develop a new measure for comparison of variation, and that is coefficient of variation. It is a relative measure of variability to the mean. This is not mentioned in centimeter, gram, milligram, etc. This is relative measure, and it is expressed in percentage. It is the ratio of standard deviation and mean, and if we multiply by 100, it will give the value in percentage. In plant breeding, we know that there are three types of variation: phenotypic variation, genotypic variation, and environmental variation. So there will be also three types of coefficient of variation: PCV, phenotypic coefficient of variation; GCV, genotypic coefficient of variation; ECV, environmental coefficient of variation. Next is standard error. There are some uncontrolled variation present in a population or sample. How we measure this uncontrolled variation? Statistician also develop a measure for such type of variation. It is known as standard error. It is estimated by dividing the estimates of standard deviation by the square root of number of my slide is stopped, I think. Okay, we were talking about standard error. So standard error is standard deviation divided by under root n, and it is measured for uncontrolled variation. Now, what are the component of variance? We know that P is equal to G plus E. It means genotype and environment. These are the two primary causes of variation. The variation in genotypes causes variation in genotypic value, and which give rise to genotypic variance or genetic variance. The variation in environment, it causes environmental variance, and both of these cause variation in phenotypic values and produce phenotypic variance. Therefore, phenotypic variance is partitioned analogous to the partitioning of phenotypic value. We know that P is equal to G plus E, and we describe our other aspects in this reference. Suppose we square both the sides, then we will get, this is analogy. P is equal to G plus E, and if we square both sides, we will get P square is equal to G plus E whole square. Again, P square is equal to G square E square plus 2GE. This G, it may taken as interaction between genotype and environment. It may be covariance between genotype and environmental deviation. In this case, we okay. The same way, if we represent P square by sigma square P, that is phenotypic variance, and G square as sigma square G, genotypic variance, E square by sigma square E, this is analogous term, and 2GE. G is the interaction variance between genotypic values and environmental deviation. For practical purpose, it is assumed that there is no coordination between genotypic value and environmental deviation, although there is interaction between genotype and environmental effects, but still we confined our study up to this. Now, components of genotypic variance. We studied that phenotypic variance is equal to genotypic variance plus environmental variance. But we know that genotypic value has three components. We have studied in previous class. G is equal to A plus D plus I. That is, genotypic value consists of additive value or breeding value, dominance deviation, and interaction deviation. So Fisher was the first person who divided the genetic variance into these three components. These are also analogous to, for A, there would be additive variance, for D, there would be dominance variance, and for I, there would be epistatic variance. What is additive variance? While studying breeding value and average effect of gene substitution, we studied that it is the variance which arises from difference between two homozygotes of a gene, A1A1 and A2A2. These are the two homozygotes, and the variance which occurred due to their difference, it will give additive variance. It is called by difference in breeding values. In simple terms, we can say additive variance is the variance of breeding values. This is the fixable, and therefore selection for traits governed by additive variance, it is very effective. Dominance variance, you know what is dominance? It is intra-allelic interaction. So the variance which is the consequence of intra-allelic interaction, that is interaction between two alleles within the same locus, and it is due to deviation of heterozygote from the mean of two homozygotes of a gene. I think you remember that scale in the previous class. So dominance variance is the variance of dominance deviation. It is not fixable, although it is the component of genotypic variance, but it is not fixable. So selection for traits controlled by such variance is not effective. In this case, heterosis breeding may be rewarding. Next is epistatic variance or interaction variance. You know what is epistasis? It is intra-allelic interaction. If there are two or more loci, there may be interaction between different alleles of separate loci, and that interaction give rise to deviation in some values, and this give rise to interaction variance. Magnitude of interaction variance is very small and negligible. when gene loci affecting a trait are more. So for 2 loci, there may be slight interaction, but suppose there are 10 loci, interaction would be there, but the magnitude will be very small and negligible. So interaction variance, it may be also divided into additive dominance and dominance. If more than 2 loci, there may be several other components, etc. Okay, this is I think just a introductory part of variation. Okay, thanks. Okay, today 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where is 8th person? Who is not here? Ashok Rao. Okay. Okay. We will take next class components of genotypic variance. Anything? Do you want to share anything with me?
No, sir.
Okay. This is general
Thank you.
topic. I think you know, but it is essential for quantitative point of view. Next will be very elaborative components of genotypic variance. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.